It's very likely that it could happen anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, this is a nature reserve. It's very dry. There's fuel load is incredible. You know, so it can happen. As I said, we no longer live in that bubble where things don't happen in Gibraltar. The number of tourists have increased. If you look at statistics, around 85% of wildfires are started by human elements. If tourist numbers increase, that increases the risk. But it's important for people to be made aware by tourist operators, by the Department of the Environment, and that campaigning is extremely important. But nevertheless, yes, the reality is it can happen. I mean, it happens, it'll be extremely challenging for us because of the dynamics of Gibraltar, you know, the landscape, the slope, wind direction, wind speeds, humidity. But again, when you get dry vegetation, people possibly smoking, even though the signs are there, you know, but people throwing a cigarette end, that could trigger off, that could ignite, and there you go. So, yeah, as I said, we've got to be ready for any eventuality.
So we talk about the human element. You've mentioned cigarette butts, people throwing them away carelessly. What other things can we avoid as the public visiting the nature reserve?
Well, again, anything that could trigger an ignition. You know, it's hard to say what should we be avoiding. Definitely, listen, campfires. Be very careful what you do in terms of campfires. Get the necessary permissions. Any media that extinguishing media that you need to have in place, etc., etc. Get the right permits. It's about taking all the precautions. It's hard to say. I mean, the list is endless of the things you can do to avoid that. But once again, if 85% of the incidents are caused by human elements, I mean, people have to be very aware of, you know, is this risky? Or throwing debris, a glass bottle, or anything that could, even parking a vehicle on top of dry vegetation, you know, the exhaust gets really, really hot as well. So it's little things like that in terms of awareness that people need to be considering.
It's been a very wet year, and our ground team have been pointing this out throughout the year. As a result, we've had to actually increase the working hours for the different teams that we have on the ground cutting back vegetation. So we've got two teams at the moment. We've got the Gibraltar Nature Reserve management team. They mainly deal with roadsides and paths within the nature reserve. And in addition to that, we've got a specialized upsail team within Britannia, and they are tasked with clearing the different fire breaks that you find in the nature reserve, which are actually being extended, and there are also plans to create new fire breaks in consultation with our colleagues from the Gibraltar Fire and Rescue Service.
What does the fire break actually do?
Well, the fire breaks essentially help compartmentalize different parts of the reserve and help contain a fire. Having said that, wildfires, once they take off, are very difficult to extinguish. I mean, obviously the GFRS have different assets at their avail to be able to tackle fires in different locations, but essentially they help buy time and ideally cut fires at the right time. Early detection is key. That's what has, to date, saved us from more significant problems in the nature reserve. And luckily we've got a lot of eyes on the ground making sure that nothing is started.